Oh, everyone can see and hear you.
You. Welcome to everyone to Variety Live. We so appreciate you joining us, and most especially Desus and Mero. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having us.
I know you guys have been busy working on segments for the show today. We want to hear a little bit more about it. But I thought I would start with where you guys usually end your show. The brand is strong.
Correct.
Tell us, that's something that Desus says almost at the end of every episode. Tell us about the Desus and Mero brand. It's kind of sprung up on pop culture in the last, 18 to 12 months. What is the Desus and Mero brand, and who is your audience?
That's a good question. Our brand is basically just Bronx-based humor. It's very New York centric, but it's very unique in that you don't have to be from New York to get it. And it's basically what we've learned from growing up in New York, growing up in the Bronx, going to New York City public schools, Mero working in a public school, me having a crappy office job. It's just it's very personable people you can relate to. We never are like preaching to you. We're just a couple of guys making some jokes that you can relate to. And we're like stress relievers. And people really appreciate that and enjoy that. And it's hard to get that nowadays in entertainment. And I think that's why people cling so tightly to us, because it's very low effort. And, it's just something you turn on and watch and enjoy.
It's not a super passive thing, but it's passive enough where you could just eat an edible and sit down, and we're like a human stress ball. You know what I mean? Like if you're stressed out about everything that's happening in the world, just turn it on, just put it there. You know what I mean? Let it play and absorb it. Enjoy.
I think Desus and Mero fidgets and stress balls. That is a new line of merchandising for Showtime when we get out of all of this madness.
Showtime, you listening? Make that happen.
Exactly. How are you guys? Obviously, you've been in remote production now for a couple of weeks. How have you adjusted your particular rapport, the pattern that is the bulk of your show? How is that adjusted or different in a world where you're not sitting together and you're coming from two different states, actually?
Oh yeah. It doesn't really feel like two different, like, until you just pointed it out. It doesn't really feel like two different states. The beauty, so shout out to Zoom, even though they're stealing our passwords, shout out to their technology. It makes it very easy to work together. So it still feels the same. And I'm actually watching the show. I've noticed there's points where I actually reach over or I turn and I look as if Mero is over here on this side and he's not. But it feels the same because of the headphones and everything. He sounds like he's right there. So that definitely keeps the energy going on that form.
Yeah, and like our show isn't like this, a massive crew either. You know what I mean? Like we're very like familiar with the people we work with, so it's just like when you hop on the Zoom and you click the link, it's like, hey, what's up, Dave? Hey, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like you already like in that mode, and when you hop in, it's just like, oh, we're just going back to class. You know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah. It's actually very fun for us because it's like, we're not sixth graders in a Zoom meeting, but it's something to look forward to. When we have to record the show, we get there half an hour before we start rolling, and we have to go through technical tests and talk to the producers and the editors. But it's just fun because the beauty of our show, it never felt like they were staff members. Everyone on our show feels like a friend or a family, or they'd be someone you'd hang out with in real life, even if we weren't working together. So just having a chance to interface with our staff and just, see their faces, make sure they're good, make sure, they're healthy. It's the show, us doing the show is more right now kind of medicine for ourselves. And we appreciate that. And we try to put that forward through the screen for the fans, because like to be able to make a show in these crazy times, it seemed impossible in the beginning, but shout out to the Showtime tech team. They did everything possible. They set this up. They sent us all the equipment. And now, like setting this up used to take half an hour. Now we can do this in like 5 minutes. And we're just going to keep cranking these shows out for as long as we're locked up.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it's not wild how it's not like, oh, it's the easiest thing in the world, but it's easier than I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, like Desus said, it was the first initial setup was wild. It's like, yo, I got a C-stand right here. You know what I mean? I put it together myself. You know what I'm saying? So like we're getting all this equipment and doing all this stuff, and there's a newfound appreciation for everybody that works on the crew. You know what I mean? Like from the lighting.
If you hold a piece of gaff tape, listen,
yo, salute, because this is wild. Like there's a light behind me that I had to put a piece of paper on the wall and bounce the thing. Like the guy with the board. It's like you don't really. It's like you chop it up with him in between takes, but it's just like, oh, I didn't know how important this was. You know what I mean? Because there's like a weird shadow on my hat now. Like that's fucked up because you're
that you got to figure out. Like, it was like
now I got to put the paper on my foot. You know,
it's like even as far as like the sneaker boxes, when we first started recording, like one of the big problems was we're getting a huge glare off the sneaker boxes from the light. And then finally we had to figure out if I drop the door, that drops the reflection. But that, you know, that's working with the sound people over the phone and over Zoom area. And like even little things like this hat right here. When I got dressed for the segment, the Sacha, you know, our stylist, she's watching through the Zoom and she sends me a text message. She's like, "You're wearing the wrong hat." Like little details like that. Like I'm like, oh my God, is the MacBook charged? Are the lights fully charged? Is there enough space on the hard drive? And it's like, yo, you're wearing the wrong hat. So like you know, the people who take care of the littlest details of the show, like, listen, we miss you guys and we have a newfound respect for you. And when this pandemic is over, I don't care about social distancing. I'm hugging all of you. I'm kissing everybody. Everyone.
It takes, mouth. Yeah, it does take a small army to get television on the air for sure.
Yeah.
I think what so many people want to know, what I really want to ask, how much of what you guys do, how much of it is rehearsed in advance and how much of it is you just on the spot reacting to the prompts from Julia?
Wait, you used a word I don't think me and Mero have ever heard before. It's called rehearsal. Is that French?
That's like a technique.
Is that the type of bread, right?
Thing? It's an old school process. It goes back to the Shakespeare days.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, we are classic Shakespearean trained thespians. Right. No, everything you see right then and there.
Yeah, it's like
right off the dome.
Yeah, like I did not script my child walking in here and talking about coffee for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that was not scripted.
Like even back when we were recording in the studio, even then we get like a copy of just a copy of what videos were going to be shown. We never see the videos ahead of time. And even that, it wasn't anything for us to say. It was just like, be aware, this is the topic we're going to talk about. Boom, boom, boom. There's nothing scripted, nothing written out. Now we have no idea what's going on in these clips. And it's better that way. Because now like Julia shows us, we're like, yo, what is that? That's like, you're getting genuinely off the cuff. No rehearsals, no pickups, no edits. So when the show gets wild, that's really the show getting wild and getting out of control. And you can tell, because sometimes you can hear Julia getting flustered, and well, that's what the show is.
She's just like, right? No, stop.
You know, it could be a wholesome video. It could be a wholesome video about a baby being born, and somehow me and Mero are gonna start talking about, you know, porn, which we do every segment.
Clip.
Yes. So the Cuban clip, you know.
You know the
maybe a little Jeremy Renner, a little shabba-dooba-doob, I gotta tell you, you know. But yeah, that's all spontaneous.
No,
yeah. I mean, I feel like I feel like that's part of the appeal too. Like we're reacting to the same shit that you're reacting to at home, so it's like we're doing it in the same time. So like you're seeing this video for the first time. Maybe you're not seeing it for the first time, but you're seeing us react to it for the first time. So it's taking you back to the first time you saw it. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of like freshness and that like, oh shit, like this is how I reacted to that. Like,
and also people used to come to our live studio audience. They would sit there and at the end, everyone was like, wow, you guys, that's all. They didn't believe. Like a lot of people think this is all scripted. And they hear we have writers and they think writers are giving us what to say, but they're like writing the blocks for the show. And if you come to that, well, the studio is closed, but if you come to the studio audience, people there get to see the actual full show. They get to see segments that don't make it. They get to see flubs. They see us interacting with the staff members. And when you see it live, you're like, yo, they are doing this off the top of their dome. And I don't know how they're able to keep it up on that intensity for that level, but that's what we do.
You guys got your start, obviously, some years ago now with the podcast. How did you, or even before the podcast, how did you guys know that you had this rapport? Like, did you work on your timing at some point, or is this all just organic?
Just you know what it is? It's two New Yorkers, two native New Yorkers.
That's what happened
right now.
Like, we were in the same homeroom.
If you go anywhere like in the Bronx right now, there's a Desus Mero there. There's two New Yorkers. If you go like Taco Bell, there's two workers there that have the same rapport, because we have the same rapport whether we'd be on TV or if we'd be in jail or something. Like, you know, it was just we just talk. We got the same cadence. We got the same rhythm. And I think the best example of it was when we used to record shout out to Complex, Desus vs. Mero, our first podcast. We'd record that. And then, because we both lived in the Bronx, we'd have to take the 4 train back to the Bronx. And so we're on the 4 train and we're just talking, and people sitting around us are cracking up. And one guy's like, you guys should, I swear to you, one guy goes to us, you guys should start a podcast. And we're just like, fam, like, where do you think we're coming from? But no, there never needed a need to practice. It's just natural. If you,
I think, like you said, it's been organic.
Excuse me, that's a weak cough. Also, if people who spend a lot of time around us, they tend to be, they get exhausted because they're like, you guys do this 24/7, and it was cute the first week I met you, but now we've been working together for 2 years. So could you please be quiet?
Can you guys chill?
We've been on for about half of our time, so I think it's contractually obligated that you have to say something about the Knicks right about now.
Yes. I will say, shout to James Dolan for surpassing coronavirus. Yes. And because we're nice to you and we didn't make any jokes about that, perhaps you give us some courtside seats, you know?
Like, a lot of
there's a lot of jokes there.
There's a lot, none from us.
Listen, we're good people. We're good, faithful Knicks fans. You're never gonna see Desus and Mero stay and sell the team.
No. Oh no.
Okay. I just want to say
you, Jimbo.
I want to be able to drink beer sitting next to Enzo Engort. So listen, let it happen.
Please.
Nothing but
talk about his nudes.
Dolans, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what?
I will just say he is the Straight Shot album.
He is the best GM/musician in the league.
Number one.
Best owner, excuse me.
Nobody's topping that.
Have you kept up with the ESPN documentary Last Dance? Have you seen the most recent installments? What did you think?
Yes.
I hate Michael Jordan, and like it's a different type of hate now. It's a different flavor.
Growing up in New York, like as Knicks fans, Michael Jordan was our boogeyman. Michael Jordan was our Freddy Krueger. Like I used to have nightmares about Michael Jordan that had nothing to do with basketball. So now to watch him and to be like, oh wow, he's a jerk. Wow. But now he's also a personable jerk. Like I'm like, I'm not mad at him. I'm like, yo, he's really good and he's really cocky. Like I really like this guy. I really like this mofo.
He gives me like a lot of like uncle energy. You know what I mean? Like that's why I say like the flavor of the hate taste. The taste of the hate is different. Because before it was just driven by like, before it was just like, yo, oh shit, like you destroy my team every year. I hate you. I'm a child. You're ruining my childhood. Now it's like, oh shit, I remember that. But now it's just like, yo, you're kind of a dick, but it's like kind of cool. Because it's like, yo, I'm the best.
We grew up watching these games. Watching this game as like a 9-year-old. I'm just crying, oh, we lost. But now you're like, oh wow, Michael Jordan, it wasn't we lost. It's like, wow, they were much better than us. Like this was, we didn't have a chance. What the hell were we thinking? So watching the game, I was like, all right, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
And back then there was no internet. There was no way to see. Like now, like people like LeBron James, like if LeBron misses a free throw in the playoffs, like it's the news cycle for 48 hours.
Right.
Back then it was just like, okay, cool. There was no Twitter. There was no way to just like disseminate this information quickly. So Jordan was just like very marketed. You know what I mean? Like he's just like they interviewed him after he lost like Game 7, and he was just like, well, they played better than us. I'm still the best in the league. I'm still the GOAT. But the team was better. So blah blah blah. And I'm like, who gets interviewed after they lose a Game 7? You know what I'm saying? Like you reserve that for the winner, but nah. It was like, yo, this is Michael Jordan.
One of the best parts of the documentary was Dennis Rodman, because as a kid, the whole time I was like, he has to be doing all types of drugs. And now they're like, he did no drugs. This is just his natural energy. I was like, wow.
You would have told me, I would have been like, yo, none of them. Rodman definitely did the most blow out of all of them. And it's like, nah, bro. It was probably Bill Wennington.
What do you think about Jordan or Rodman as a guest?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen,
you got to turn the subwoofers on for Rodman because he has a lot of bass.
We recognize the fact we are washed, and our heroes are not necessarily the guests other people want to see. So literally anybody that played NBA basketball in the 90s will have as a guest. And you didn't have to, you could have been on the bench for the Knicks. I'd be like, hey, J.R. Reed, well, how's your day going? Huh? Hold on. Give our fans a chance to Google you. Okay, they're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Cartwright. You know what I'm saying? Bring out Tony Kukoc or some shit. Like,
text off is like, my father heard of that guy once. I'm like, yeah. Well, we're doing a 40-minute interview. How do you feel?
How has it been for you to gain, obviously going from podcast to TV on Vice Land, which was sort of your junior league, and then to Showtime, which is the big league. How has it been for you in terms of dealing with fame and, increased public awareness now?
The weird thing now is like that kind of, I was trying to think about that the other day. I kind of don't remember that, because now you're just inside all the time. And like, if you do go outside, you have a mask on. So no one's like, oh, wow. Like, people definitely stare at me, and I'm like, they're just like, oh, look at this guy with a mask on. They have no idea who I am. So I kind of forgot about, like, the only time I've had a moment with fame recently was the Amazon guy. He delivered a package, and I was like, hold on, I gave him a tip. And he was super excited about the tip. And then he looked up, he was like, oh, wow, Jesus. And I realized I didn't have my mask on, so I had to run back in the apartment. But I mean, for the most part, we've taken it well in stride. We're pretty much the same people we were in the beginning of when this all started, because we realized like fame comes and goes. And like, at the end of the day, that's not the most important thing in your life. So you can't make it like your priority. There's things in life that are much more important than fame and recognition and money like that. And this pandemic really kind of put a spotlight on that. So that we've always had that in the back of our head. So we never got the chance to be big, famous Hollywood jerks, sadly. But, maybe when this is over, fingers crossed.
Yeah, maybe, humanity will survive this and we'll be good. But yeah, now, like this is saying, like, I kind of forgot what it was like. Because my brushes with that were at the mall. Like, I'm in Jersey now, so I'm at the mall. I'm off for edible. I'm just walking around, like, buying shit, looking at stuff. And people are like, oh, shit, yo, what's up? Like, I see somebody in the food court and dap them up. That's not happening anymore. We're indoors. So like the last time that happened with me was I was playing like Call of Duty online with some random guy, and like halfway, like we're running match after match after match, and I'm like, why is this guy like sticking around? Like, we keep losing.
He recognized.
And then halfway through the thing, he's like, yo, I heard you laugh, bro, and I was like, oh shit, and then I saw your gamer tag, and I was like, yo, is that really Mero? Yo. I was like, bro, what? I was like, why did you say that like 10 minutes after you realized it was me? You know what I mean? He's like, I don't want to be that guy. I was like, fam, you're not here. I was like, we're here just in my headphones. Like, you're not. This is not a bother. Like, we're playing a game. But I will say that's the weird part. Like, people think that they're bothering, but they're not. Like, it's dope actually. Like, if you approach it like, yo, I'm a fan of what you guys do, blah blah blah. Awesome. You know what I mean? I haven't reached that level yet of like, get away from me.
One good part of the fame though is like being in a position where you can help other people, because like a lot of people are like losing their jobs, and a couple of my friends are like their restaurants and their stores are closing, and being able, we've worked hard and we have a little something for ourselves, so being able to like donate money and like look out for people, and like we just donated money to the World Chef's Kitchen, Chef Jose Andreas. So we're working with that. So that's the best part of being on TV, I guess, like being able to make a difference and like help people.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
And
other people's money and shit. You know what I mean? Because when they hit you up and they're like, yo, do you want pick a charity that you would like to donate to? And I'm like, oh shit, word? Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you go back and you talk to your people. What do you think about that? And then you give directly to the community that you want to, shout out to Uplift NYC, donate to that. And like, it's really dope. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you made it. Now what? You know what I mean? How are you gonna pay it forward? You know what I mean? And this is it's a shitty circumstance, but it's a dope opportunity to give that to people.
To use that platform.
Yeah,
right.
What are your sense right now of the Bronx right now? I'm in Sunnyside, Queens, and it's definitely days when you can feel the intensity. How's it for you up north there?
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty bad up here. With the Bronx getting hit very hard. We have I think we might have more cases we have a lot of cases in the Bronx, and especially in the zip codes around me, because I'm near Lincoln Hospital. And I think the weirdest thing is the refrigerated trucks. You can see them by the hospital, and that's just super eerie. That's just something like people shouldn't have to see that in their day-to-day life, but that's just how it's going. And there's a lot of ambulances. That's kind of slowed down recently, but sadly, I think because of the warm weather, I've been seeing more people out and more people without masks, and I hope that doesn't increase in the outbreaks. But we do have a testing site over here, so the Bronx is trying to get through it, but it's kind of sad. A lot of people in my neighborhood, they're essential workers, so they still have to take the subway, they still have to go to work, and they don't, there's not that much protective gear around here, so people are like buying masks at the gas station and stuff. So the Bronx is doing what the Bronx does. People in the Bronx, we figure a way to survive no matter what, and people are just trying, not making the best of it, but just surviving. Honestly.
Right, right. Are you guys banging pots and pans and clapping at 7 o'clock every night?
You know what? They don't do that in my neighborhood. It's absolutely silent in my neighborhood. But to be fair, if you go 4 blocks up, they do it. There's like a brownstone area. They do that there. People come out. It's organized. But my neighborhood, around 7 o'clock, people aren't home yet, which is weird. A lot of people still have to go to work. So, and the people that people are clapping for are a lot of people in my neighborhood. So that's kind of why there's no one at 7 o'clock clapping.
Exactly. Oh my God, Mero, how are your 5 kids holding up?
You should ask me how am I holding up? Is a better question. They're fine. They got us extended summer vacation. It's wild because like I wish I had like the innocence of a child right now, because like to the kids it's just like, okay, like what's going on? You know what I mean? Like my daughter is 3 and she's just like, okay, we can't go outside because coronavirus. Like she doesn't understand what that means, but like, you know, she knows something's going on. But at the same time, it's just like they're kids, so they're like, okay, we got our yard, you know, we got which is why I moved in the first place. Is to give my kids like a little green space, you know, that you didn't have to like leave your apartment to get, you know, and thank God for it now, because I'm like, yo, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, yo, my wife the other day, she was like, yo, you've been inside for 6 weeks. I'm like, what? I was like, it's been 6 weeks? I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay. I was like, I literally have not left my house. I was like, shout out to jail for training me.
Well, I thank you all so much for taking the time out to be with us. I wanted to close by asking you your interview a couple months ago with David Letterman.
Yes.
It was a really good session, and it very much had the feeling there was almost an imaginary baton being handed, and he made the point that you guys are the right hosts for this time in history. Do you feel the weight of it? Do you feel like you are role models for younger people who are coming up in podcasting and digital media and seeing, like, you know, you guys are almost kind of the epitome of what's possible in this?
Yeah, you know what? I do because like, you know, we're humble, but at the same time, you know, we started from Twitter and we achieved exactly what the goal of Twitter is, to get successful off of Twitter, and so you don't need Twitter anymore. And like we worked hard. We showed up all the time. We made that podcast, even when the views were low and the listeners were low. We kept at it. We grinded. And I think, you know, we are a good role model for anyone that wants it. You have to really want it. You have to be able to put in an amount of work that this, you know, the grind that needs to be done for people to get on the radar of the right people who will advance your career. And, you know, like, like people can say, you can say we're corny, you can say we've sold out, you can say we're not funny anymore. But at the end of the day, we still have a lot of fans. Our fan base is still growing. We got a book coming out, Shout Out to Knowledge Jar, dropping in September. We got cartoons coming out. So our brand is strong and it's still building. And the key to that is just staying authentic to who we are, and me remaining myself, Mero remaining himself, and us just not, you know, like people were like, we sold out. We're not. We're talking about the same thing. If anything, we're just talking about it from 2 different states. So, you know, just staying true to who you are, your authenticity, and just have that good work ethic.
Yeah, that's super important, man. But like, also, it's just like, you know, feeling that I'm very transparent about my shit. Like I have bad anxiety. So now, like, realizing, you know, before it was just like, you know, you're playing with house money, you're in here, you know what I mean? Like, and it's very low stakes. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, you're here. Like Desus said, we grinded, but we're not supposed to be here. You know, like, not trained, not classically trained. Didn't go to Juilliard, none of that. But right. Like now, when it's like, oh shit, you're getting interviewed by Variety. Like that is when it's like, you know what I mean? And you just kind of refocus, and you're like, oh shit, okay, now I'm being watched. So there's a kid that's watching this right now that's like, yo, can I do that? Is that a possibility for me? Yes, it is. We have to project that, you know what I mean? So that's a real responsibility, and that will weigh on you. You know what I mean? Like Desus said, all the people chirping in the background, you know what I mean? It's like, it's different, because when you come from the Bronx, it's a very, there's very like direct line of conversation with somebody. It's not like, yo, you could just talk shit about me and like I'll just digest it and keep it moving. I'm not used to that. You know what I mean? So like I'll see something on Twitter or in a comment section or something, and I'll be like, I mean, you know, people say don't read the comments. That should still affect you. You know what I mean? People are still human beings. So, but at the same time, it's just like, man, you gotta turn the volume down on that noise so that you can be that role model for a kid who's watching. It's like, damn, dude, like, you know, like I didn't finish school, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like I don't have an entryway into entertainment. You know what I mean? How did you do it? You know, so then just laying that blueprint out and being accessible is really important.
What you both had was the voice. And I thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really fun to chat with you. I'll watch you later tonight, and I'll watch you on
yeah. Thank you. Thanks for doing it.
Keep on doing
thank you.
shows.
Thank you. And thank you, Variety, for always having us in your articles and then doing this live with us.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cynthia, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Variety gang.
That's
also,
right.
shout out to y'all for using the very sexy graphic of us for this Variety Live. That was a great photo of us.
Thank you.
Makeup on.
Hey.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was so much fun. All right. Are we done?
That was wild.